Georgia opened with Clemson, and then Oregon and LSU and Les Miles opened with Oregon and smacked them around. Alabama knocked around USC and Wisconsin and Va-Tech for years. The SEC fears nobody.
Stop it. I love the SEC. Put them on. By the way, if you just had an only SEC college football playoff show, it would be absolutely wonderful. How about that out there, SEC backers?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
So the Mets, they went through a rough stretch where they were terrible, but, they win the series versus the Mariners. They're kind of turning things around just a little bit. Like, the offense has been there. You said they were in a playoff race. It's tough to say, they need to win. It's like trying to trust teams in different sports at the end of the season. But the hitters are hitting right now. Lean into the Mets, lean into the Phillies. These teams have something to play for, and they're cooking right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
I think what you saw last year is it's tough to say, it's projectable. But I do think it's something that when you're taking shots here, you're looking for a bye-week coverage wide receiver on your roster or a guy that has upside who's young enough to grow into more of a role. I think the development of Bo Nix was stunningly good last year. If we can build on that again this year, I think Marvin Mims is a really good selection as the 57th wide receiver off the board.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
What does he do after he hits the home run? He walks over to the fan and he pats him on the back and gives him a high five. This is the same fan that's been going after him for the entire game. Dave Roberts after the game saying, hey, look, every once in a while, it's kind of funny to see Shohei, who's got this wonderful personality that we almost never see. It was great to see him do that with the fans.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It is In-Game Live Game Day on a fabulous, it is a football Friday. We do have some college football tonight. And of course, we had the return of the fastest and more importantly, most profitable 5 minutes in radio opposite picks. Now that we have the college football season back, do have some some WNBA. We got some baseball stuff. We have our 5 on the line. We got a little black cloud action tonight. Got a pretty good college football game. In fact, we got a couple of halfway decent games in college football tonight. My partner in crime for the next 2 hours, Mr. Gabe Morency. What's going on, Gabe? How are you tonight?
Yeah, we're ready to rock. I'm excited for these two games that are getting ready to kick off right now. Listen, Baylor, one of the serious contenders in the Big 12. Auburn, interesting. Auburn Tiger fans. Hugh Freeze plays more golf than Rory McIlroy does.
That's the concern.
Hugh Freeze, and for whatever reason, he registers his scores with the U.S. Golf Association, which you can do. But people clued in, Scott, that he played golf 50 times this summer. And they're like, aren't you supposed to be recruiting instead of playing golf all the time? So Auburn, Auburn are supposed to be good again this year. Not elite good, but supposed to be good. A lot of pressure on Auburn. And as far as Baylor's concerned, listen, Aranda went 3-17 against, he had a 3-17 run. Then they win 6 games in a row to end the year last year. So let's get to the picks. I'm on the Baylor Bears plus the 1 point in this football game. We're going to stay away from the total. I'm not sure it turns into a track meet. That's what in-game betting is for. So we'll take Baylor plus 1. I'll tell you what, Scott, here's a trend for you. Sawyer Robertson, the quarterback of the Baylor Bears. The last 10 games of the year last year, 9 of the 10 games he threw for 2 or more touchdown passes. He's a stud. Ooh. He's 60-1 to win the Heisman. He's not going to win the Heisman, but he's a really good quarterback, Scott. People don't talk about him, Sawyer Robertson, but he's really good. So it's minus 145 over 1.5 touchdown passes, but we played it. We also played the running back Bryson Washington to score a touchdown at minus 188. And in the Colorado game, guys, Haynes King, Scott, might be the most underrated college quarterback in the country. Haynes King, all he does is score and lead the team down the field. Haynes King to score a touchdown tonight is minus 125, so we played Haynes King. Georgia Tech are down to minus 165 now on the money line, so I'd rather do that than lay the 3.5, Scott. There was concern about the weather in Boulder, and the total keeps dropping. Yeah, 160 on the money line right now. The number keeps dropping. It's 50.5 right now, Scott, because of weather. It's drizzling, bro. It's in Boulder, Colorado. It's drizzling. Yeah, it's dark. It looks gloomy, but I don't know if you're seeing it live right now. It's not even raining anymore. It's just a dark night there. Dude, Colorado aren't going to be able to stop Haynes King. At 50.5, if I'm wrong, Scott, but I'm dying on the sword, guys. Haynes King to score a touchdown. Georgia Tech to win the game. Georgia Tech, Colorado over. Baylor +1. Let's rock.
All right. I don't understand that Baylor line at all, Gabe. I really don't. And we'll get into it a little bit here because we got to do our 5 on the line. But I actually thought when I saw the line with the Auburn being a 2.5-point favorite, I thought it was a neutral site game. I figured, okay, it's got to be somewhere. But it's in Texas. So it's in Waco. That's a home game for Baylor, and you're making them a dog?
It's SEC versus Auburn? Big 12. That's the thing. Because the thing is, like you said, Auburn's not even a top-tier SEC team, Scott.
No.
They're a middle-tier SEC team. And Baylor are good. Baylor have talent. Aranda can coach. Waco's a tough place to play. This is just classic. Let's make the SEC team the favorite over the Big 12 team.
Yeah. It's going to take something for an SEC team, outside of maybe Mississippi State to be an underdog. It really will against a non-conference team. It's crazy. I think I love that Baylor pick. I really do. Going to go opposite with you on the Colorado. I really wanted to play Georgia Tech. Then the lines came out, and Georgia Tech was a 4.5-point favorite. It's like, fudge. I thought that would be pick 'em. I actually thought they'd be a dog. It's down to 3.5, but I'm kind of hoping Colorado scores first, and then I can get the Georgia Tech at a pick-up note. But we'll break it all down, a bunch of other games. We do have some WNBA, but for the most part, it is college football with our 5 on the line. 5 best trends for the games that are starting in just a little bit. All right, first of our 5-pack, we're going to use the WNBA, the late game tonight, LA versus Indiana. LA, number 1 over team in the WNBA, 24-11-1 over on the season. Indiana can score with the best of them. Believe it or not, especially without Caitlin Clark, it's just been a track meet back and forth. Last 2 Sparks games did go under, but just barely. This has got 95-90 written all over it. Let's go over 179.5 Indiana and Los Angeles. All the rest of college football. Colorado. Now, these are kind of screwed up, because it's all based on last year, and what happens last year doesn't necessarily happen this season. But trends are trends. They don't know that stuff. Colorado, 9-2 against the spread their last 11 games, including 5-0 at home. So, you want to give me Colorado plus the 3.5 as a trend? That's the pick against Georgia Tech just underway. Baylor, we talked about a game just a second ago, right? 6-1 straight up and against the spread their last 7 games from last year. You want to give me 1.5 with Baylor at home, especially. Trends say Baylor, so give me the Bears plus a 1.5 against Auburn. Play number 4. How about UNLV? 8 straight road victories for the Running Rebels. Not bad. Got to lay a little juice on this one. They're a double-digit favorite, but UNLV minus 315 against Sam Houston State. Both teams playing last week. UNLV winning barely, and then Sam Houston losing. And then that leaves us with only one, the creme de la creme, numero uno trend for tonight. College football. Central Michigan out of the MAC, 6-13-1 against the spread. Their last 20 games, they stink and they don't cover. So give me an improved San Jose State team trying to build on what they did last year as our number 1 trend play tonight. San Jose State laying 13.5 against Central Michigan. Go ahead, Gabe. Sorry.
One thing I'll say, Scott, as far as Dion is concerned in Colorado, he has been a good dog. Like he has been a very good underdog. 9-3 against the spread, actually, as an underdog, Deion Sanders. And he's won 3 of those games outright. So every once in a while, they do pull off the upset. I just wonder, they lost the heart and soul of their team, which was the Sanders family, right? To me, you lose Shador. Yep. He was the leader. Caden Salter's a good quarterback coming in for Liberty. So, I don't say no. That's they got a quarterback. Shiloh didn't make it in the NFL, but he was a big part of that defense. Like this is the first time, actually, guys. The Deion. Think about this, Scott. This is the first time that Deion Sanders has coached a game without his sons. First time ever.
Yeah. Ever.
They were with them at Jackson State. They were with them. Like, you know what I mean? They were there. They were there. So was Travis Hunter. So this is the first time that Deion Sanders has not had his son Shador, his sons, Travis Hunter, who was basically like a family member. it's sort of new. You know what I'm saying? He's going in there fresh and raw. And I like the fact that Georgia Tech, I love Brent Key as a coach, and I like Georgia Tech, the fact that they have a lot of their players back, including Haynes King. Should be a fun game, though. But as far as UNLV, Scott, is concerned, I like Sam Houston State in this game tonight. You saw UNLV. They were 30-point favorites last week. They won by 7. They won 38-31. Yeah, they gave up over 400 yards of passing offense to Idaho State. And Sam Houston State aren't a bad team. They won 10 games last year. Like, they were starting over, though. So they opened up their season on the road against Western Kentucky, hung around, fell apart in the fourth quarter. I like the fact they're back home. I think the spread's too high, Scott. I'm pulling the trigger with Sam Houston State plus the 9, and I think it's going to be a track meet and get into the 60s.
Yeah, I like that as well. Did it go under the 10? I know it was 10.5 earlier today, so
yeah,
it's
it's
not quite
dipped
double
to
digits.
9.
But
the hipsters are jumping in.
yeah, I hate being on the side of the public. I really do, but I think that's where we're going to be tonight with this one. All right, just underway in Game Live.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. Just to recap our 5 on the line. Some of this is already changing just because of some quick scores here in college football. But just for the record, WNBA over 179.5. Indiana, no Caitlin Clark, obviously, again tonight at Los Angeles. Should be a track meet. LA, the number 1 over team in the WNBA. Rest of college football, Colorado plus 3.5 at home, 9-2 against the spread their last 11. Baylor plus 1.5. They're on the move, oh, by the way, against Auburn. UNLV money line, minus 315, so put it in a parlay if you want. They've won 8 straight road games. And then Central Michigan, San Jose State lay into 13.
We've lost Scott Wetzel again, as we see. For the record, Colorado scored already in this football game. In-game total, 54 and a half, excuse me. 54 and a half right now. I just clicked it. So I took the over 54 and a half in this game. The number was in that range before. We talked about this on the podcast. I tweeted about it tonight, in which I said there's this big move because of the weather with the total down. Yet the weather's not that bad in Boulder. And Caden Salter in for Shedeur Sanders just marched down the field through an early touchdown pass. Got totals 54 and a half in this game right now. It's going to be a track meet. Like, Colorado's offense is good, right? They were good last year. Their defense is suspect. Haynes King and Georgia Tech are going to score in this game. And if Caden Salter throws the ball like that, then we could have a fun football game. Love the over, Scott. I was already on the over, 50 and a half, but I took the over 54 and a half in game right now.
Yeah. And now I'm going to hop in on Georgia Tech. I agree with you. I kind of lean towards under, admittedly, to start the game, but after seeing that first drive and thinking about things, you know what? They're going to be throwing the ball. And at Georgia Tech, you think of them as the old Georgia Tech, right? Paul Johnson running. But that's not the case with Haynes King, who's been there for about 15,000 years. He actually set the ACC record for completion percentage last year, believe it or not.
You know what's funny? Here's a field goal for Baylor that's good. 37-yard field goal. Baylor Bears take an early 3-0 lead on their first drive. But it's funny you say that, Scott. You're right. In the old days, and who was the other guy? What's his name? The guy that coached the Chargers, too. Bobby Ross.
Right.
Bobby Ross.
Oh, that's way back.
They were always like an option team, weird gadget. You know what I mean, Scott? Like Georgia Tech, they're all like under Johnson. It was almost like a military deal. It was like, they had like 3 running backs and wishbones. And yet they also had Calvin Johnson somehow, which is just so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
And Calvin Johnson, guys, was on a football team that ran the ball all the time in college. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny. And then throw a Hail Mary to him every once in a while. And he'd come down, hey. But like Roddy White was another good wide receiver that went there, Scott. Yeah. But you're bang on. Under Brent Key, this new coaching staff, bro, this ain't your granddad's Georgia Tech football team anymore. Like, they spray the ball around. They play at a tempo. They move the ball down the field. Like I said, I'm expecting points. Should be a fun game in this game. Remember I said, too, Scott, for the Baylor game, not quite sure it turns into a track meet. Baylor have a good defense. You know what I mean? Like, Aranda's a defensive guy. Like, so Baylor have a good defense, and we can take our pot shots at Hugh Freeze for playing too much golf, but you know that Auburn's D is going to be pretty good here in this football game. That's why I was hesitant, Scott, to click 57 and a half over.
Yeah. I'll quickly first off with Colorado game. They're either going to go left or right. I don't think it's going to be a middle. Like, they're either going to embrace the fact that, Deion's kids aren't there anymore, and maybe even more so Deion, but I think as a team, just, those guys, all 3 of them, whether the 2 sons or Travis Hunter, they garner just so much attention that maybe it is just an addition by subtraction, not necessarily on the field.
That is not about the Sanders. It's about the team now.
Yes.
And, Scott, right on cue, Haynes King just fumbled the snap.
Ugh.
Colorado recovers. And I tell you, it wasn't credit their defense for recovering it, Scott, but 1,000,000% bad snap. One of those over his head. He sort of tipped it like a basketball, like it went up. Boom, he gets hit. Colorado falls on the ball. Deion, you know what? That should be a penalty, but it's Deion Sanders. Deion ran to like midfield, Scott, after the turnover, like a player. Like he ran, he was on the logo. Like, he was like, yeah, he's on the logo, clapping. But I love it. It's fun. He's great for the game. But yeah, Colorado, Scott, gets the ball now, up 7-0 at midfield.
Wow. Chance to go up double digits. The absolute worst thing in the world you could have won if you're Georgia Tech, right? So the lines are locked right now. We'll give you some updated lines on that.
A lot of football.
As far as the other, yeah. As far as the other games, Gabe, listen, they're goofy games. Wake Forest, Kennesaw State, who knows? But I did like Appalachian State today. They were only laying – the line went down to 3.5.
Good call.
I mean,
Me too.
App State's like a really good program. I know last year they slipped. I think they were 5-7 last year, first time in eons. But they've been a 9, 10, 11 win team going back to their 1AA days. Charlotte is Charlotte. The game's in North Carolina. It's being played at the Carolina Panthers home facility, so there is no real home field advantage. I mean, both teams are from North Carolina, so you want to give me App State, laying 3.5. Now they got a 7-3 lead right now, and they're driving, so it's up to 10.5. Unfortunately, the game started a while ago. It's in the second quarter. But I did like them, and if you can get that number, closer to 7.5, 8.5 for some reason, I think App State wins by double digits easily. They're the much better program and team.
I wouldn't lay the 8.5 in game now, but good call pregame, Scott. Listen, everybody was betting Charlotte like they had Saturday morning's newspaper. Dude, the spread was like 6.5 at one point, right? It's insane. I don't agree with it. It's insane. And in fact, I bought in. Oh my God, Salter just threw like a 50-yard bomb, but it was incomplete. To me, I love those angles, Scully. I don't know if you agree with me, but I love the angle of like Colorado tonight. It was like, dude, the total was like 54 before. What, it rained in Boulder a little bit? You moved it to 50? I'm getting value now at 50, Scott. Oddsmaker said 54. I trust the oddsmaker more than the public, Scott. Right? The oddsmaker said 54, not 50. You guys say 50. Right? And now I'm getting it at 50. And great with App State. I wasn't going to bet that game, Scott. Everybody, I swear to God, Scott, every gambling website host, blah, 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 Charlotte, App State are starting over.
Really?
And I'm like, okay, but now you guys bet it down so much. I'm getting App State at minus 150 on the money line against a crap-ass Charlotte program, like you said?
Yeah.
Come on. App State rolls. Let's roll.
There you go. More coming up.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, catfishers are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the pup list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who say, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. Got some college football. I will say this before we get back to the college football games. It is sad for baseball. I'm a big baseball, big Red Sox fan. I know you're a big Dodger fan. Love the sport, gamble on it. A lot of people don't, but I do every single day. You know, I'm Pete Rose. I'm putting in 7-8 pieces a day, right? But it is amazing when the college football season comes. It just out of an hour, like if I divide my time or whatever by 10, right? Today was 9 college football, 1 baseball. And this is the most important time of the year, but it's just I don't care about St. Louis or Cincinnati anymore. I know.
You know what's crazy, Scott?
Bigger games.
The Brewers are playing the Blue Jays right now. Massive series. I don't even know what the score is. I swear to God, I don't know. I don't know the score. I know the Dodgers are playing the D-backs later tonight. So, you know what I mean? That's one thing I do know.
I'm more concerned with Western Illinois versus Illinois than I am Brewers and
I know
Jays.
You weren't here last night, but it was like, hey, Kyle Schwarber has 4 home runs. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, we got big issues here in this football game right now. Like, you know, it felt so insignificant, Scott, at the time to me. I was like,
it does.
So what? He's got a bunch of home runs against the Nationals or something. Good for him. Like, you know, what was the game last? What was the big game on TV last night? Oh, Cincinnati, Nebraska. It was like, no, dude, we're sweating out this Nebraska game right now. I'm not worried about the baseball home runs. Talk to me when they're playing playoff series. That's Scott. I can't imagine baseball ratings like just gonna get pummeled now. Wait till the NFL thing, Scott. On a Friday night next week, there's an NFL game.
Yeah,
the Friday game in the NFL next week.
Yeah, Thursday and
like,
Friday.
Compare that. So, like, imagine like watching baseball head to head. Yeah, Cowboys, Eagles, and then Chiefs, Chargers on Friday. Like they can't even buy a break on a Friday night baseball now.
Yeah, you could add up all the baseball games combined audiences next week, Thursday and Friday, and it still won't match the one NFL game each day. That's how big football is, NFL.
I think you could almost take the month, Scott. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I think you can almost accumulate the month. Like, honestly, how many people are going to be watching a Cowboy-Eagle game? 25 million or something ridiculously? 30, 30 million, something stupid, like high, crazy, like really? And they always break records. It's always like, oh, it's the most viewed game since, like, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Georgia Tech with the ball right now, midfield, 1st and 10. Haynes King running with the ball. So they're moving it a bit here. Scott, I'm a little angry at myself because I'm big on the Kansas Jayhawks this year. I left it on the table. I just got turned off by the fact that it was 28.5 in the first half. Ooh. I was like, oh, man, that's steep. Like, yeah, because I took Missouri last night first half, and they were up by 26, okay? Right. You need a clean ride, Wetzel. Like, you're laying 28.5. Like, that's 5 scores, man, in the first half. They're doing it. Kansas are up 22-0 with like 10 minutes left in the half right now. So they probably score another one. But curious your take on this. I know you went to Southern Illinois, not Western Illinois.
Yeah.
So it's the Leathernecks, not the Salukis in action right now. But the Leathernecks taking on Illinois. Total was 63.5, Scott. You know, I know Illinois' defense is stout. Their defense might be better than the Bears' defense. Like, they're not like fake good. They're good. Like, Illinois' defense is good. How many points are Western Illinois scoring tonight? Seriously, against Illinois. The total is 63.5, Scott. And Illinois' offense isn't built to win 65-0. I think he calls off the dogs once he gets to 35-42-0. I bet under 63.5 in this game. 14-0 right now after the first quarter of play.
Yeah, you would think so, right? By the way, Western then now got Northwestern after this game. So a little back-to-back paycheck for Western Illinois, which isn't any good. They're
who does Salukis play?
Right?
They got a game. Who are they playing in week 1?
I
caught my eye the other night.
Yeah,
I can tell you're not a hardcore. You've given up on them. You're not a hardcore fan.
Yeah, I really have. No, I'm thinking back to last year when they always play like things. Thomas More, no. Maybe this
Thomas More, College Saints. Thanks to Vinny. Wow. I got to be honest. I've never heard of Thomas More before. Full disclosure.
St. Thomas in Minnesota.
Yeah, I know St. Thomas MN, St. Thomas, Minneapolis, or whatever. Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah, I know. You know what I mean? I know. Like, really? I thought, that's the one. They got Purdue next week, Scott. They got Purdue next week. They're at Purdue.
Right. I know it was somebody halfway decent. So, I get, Western Illinois versus Illinois. I get App State. I get Kennesaw State, which is in North Carolina against Wake Forest. I get all that game. I get Bethune-Cookman, which is down south against Florida International. I don't get Kansas versus Wagner, though. Wagner is a small little rinky-dink school here on Staten Island that couldn't beat Topeka High on its best day, and they're playing
I should have laid the points. God, I should have just laid the points.
Yeah.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, catfish years are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the pup list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who say, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Nice little night of college football. Huge slate tomorrow. Texas, Ohio State. Should be a lot of fun over the next couple of days. That is for sure. Talk a little college football with our good buddy Colby Day at the College Football Experience. Check out his podcast, the Gambling Podcast Network. The College Experience Podcast is the name of his podcast. Mr. Colby Day. What's going on, Colby? How are you today, bud?
I'm great. When I got like a 9 TV setup, so you get that thing going and you just stay staring at it. And during the summer months, it's dull. So I'm glad to be back in the mix. So how you guys doing?
Good. Nothing like sweating out a Campbell, Rhode Island game like I am right now. God bless you.
I got it right here.
God bless
right
you.
Here, man.
I'm on Campbell. I'm on the Camels. I got the Camels plus 8.5 against the Rams tonight. Let's rock. They're up 2017. Still 3-0, guys. Little bit of a defensive battle going on in Waco early right now, guys.
Yeah, what they just had a goal line stop or something, or a fourth down stop, because Baylor was moving the ball a little bit. But I took Baylor. This Auburn team on paper looks fantastic, but we'll see, because Lane Kiffin's been trolling Hugh Freeze there with all the golfing he's been doing. It's like, are you focusing on the X's and O's? And look,
Lane Kiffin should worry about himself, but it's funny he's doing it.
Yeah.
The thing I love about Auburn, there's nothing more SEC than this. They hire Hugh Freeze, but in his contract they say he cannot work we do not trust. So you are not allowed to have a university phone because they don't trust him with a phone. But here, we're going to put you in charge of 120 kids. What a world.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the preacher. All right,
what I love, too, just quickly about that, where Hugh Freeze, coming from Liberty, too, Colby, we all know what happened, like why, and then Liberty hires him. The biggest so-called religious school, Scott. For people tuning in, whatever, I don't care. I'll cut to the chase. He was calling hookers from the office.
Yeah.
Well, and
just to be real.
And part of the reason why the thing at Auburn with the phone is he got in trouble at Liberty for DMing these girls that were at the university via his phone. So that was part of this the thing of, hey, just we can't give this guy a phone, but here's millions of dollars, and here you're in charge of 100.
Yeah, run our
kids.
program. Yeah, run our program. Wild, what a wild world.
I don't even know. Yeah, well, I don't even think they're any good. Like, what am I missing? That they were awful last year. They were awful 2 years ago.
Jackson Arnold, Scott, the quarterback. Ooh, Jackson Arnold.
Quarterback. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Colb? Is it, did you like Baylor or Auburn tonight then?
I took Baylor just because he's got to prove it to me, because I don't know how good of a coach he ever was. You got to remember, Ole Miss was paying players illegally via prostitution and other forms of payment. Look, so now everyone can pay. So it's like, how good are you really? But Auburn, I will say this. Auburn's boosters have a lot of money, and they did pay for that roster that they have this year. So that's why I thought it was a tricky game. But Hugh Freeze got to prove it to me. I took Baylor. I didn't go that heavy on it, though.
How about the other biggie, Georgia Tech in Colorado? You said you like Colorado to start, though.
Well, once it went up to like 5, because remember, I want to say out the gate, Colorado actually was favored like back in May or something, or early June. And then it went all the way, and I was like, I thought Georgia Tech, because Colorado's essentially trying to be Georgia Tech. They're trying to be a ground and pound team this year. Georgia Tech, that's what they've done for the past year and a half under Brent Key. So, but once it went to 5, I got in on Colorado's action because, I mean, I knew they were a mystery team, but then you find out, the Deion situation with his health, but also for me, Bill McCartney, they're honoring him tonight. So I was like, oh, they're gonna be on one tonight. So give me the 5. And what, they're up 7-0. They should be, in a way, they should be up more. Getting 3 turnovers and only having 7 points. Georgia Tech's still in a good spot.
Tech is moving the ball. Did you guys see? You like this, Wetzel? So Deion, of course, he's got bladder issues now after his surgeries and stuff. They actually have a sponsored porta potty on the sideline behind the bench, brought to you by Depends. Adult diapers Depends. It's actually genius, though. Like, after all these years, instead of making a run to the locker room, how come you guys just didn't put a porta potty on the sideline? Somebody got to get this, like, bragging around it and stuff. But let me ask you, Colby, about the game coming up here, UNLV and Sam Houston. UNLV got all they can. Speaking of coaches, so Dan Mullen, Barry Odom's a great coach. Let's just call it out for what it is. I don't think Mullen's a great coach, but he is Mr. Vegas right now. He's got the personality. He's good in the media, rah-rah, you know what I mean? We saw what happened last week. They're not the same team as last year. There was 10.5. It's 9 right now. Sam Houston State were sort of starting over, but they already played on the road. They're fired up on campus there tonight for this game. I don't see any reason why it doesn't go over again. We just saw the Bengals hang over 400 yards passing on UNLV. I think UNLV won't have a problem scoring tonight on Sam Houston. I like the over in the game, and I like the home dog, Colby. What's your take on the game?
I'm with you with the over, just because both these defenses I think are pretty terrible. But as far as on the side, I think there's value in taking UNLV. And the logic was this. They're actually renovating their campus stadium. They're actually playing an hour away from campus at the Shell Energy Stadium where they play MLS in Houston. I don't know how many fans are making that trip. I don't know how many fans are making that trip. So, like, and the one thing that scared me is I was on Sam Houston against Western, and I lost. That should have hit. They were at the 1 yard line, and they went play action on first down and got an 11-yard loss, and then ended up. Ooh. But that 10.5 should have hit. But Hunter Watson, that quarterback, can't throw. For Sam Houston, like, he's a great runner, and that's why I still think the over's in play. But he definitely struggled passing the ball some, and UNLV definitely struggled covering the pass. That might be a blessing in disguise for them. But I actually laid it because I just think you're getting a little bit more value. UNLV, to me, if Dan Mullen plays both quarterbacks today, I'm going to go crazy because if you watch the Idaho State game, under Calandria, the offense moved. Under Alex Orji, it did nothing. But he kept going back to it, and they almost lost because of that, in my opinion. I mean, their defense was terrible too, but what's that?
Yeah, I was surprised, Colby. Orji's not even listed on the player props tonight. I was surprised. Because you figure, last week I bet on the rushing touchdown. I'm a Michigan fan, so it really is insane with Alex Orji that nobody can teach him to throw the football. Like, it's not like it hasn't been tried. The guy, Scott, was on the Michigan effing Wolverines, bro, with Harbaugh. It's like, Harbaugh. Look what Harbaugh just did with Trey Lance. Instant. Like Kaepernick. Instant. Like, you know what I mean? Dude, they had him. They ran packages for him in Michigan. He played. When McCarthy left, they were reluctant. They were like, all right, let's give Orji a shot to be the starter. The kid, he's super athletic. He can run. He's got a cannon. He just can't throw the football, Colby and Scott. It's unbelievable, Colby. You're right, though. The offense completely started to click. If they left Orji in, they were going to lose last week.
Oh, 100%. I was actually my co-host on one of my shows took Idaho State first half money line 9-1, and we're sitting there watching this. We were in Vegas for this. We were in Vegas for this, and we're at a local joint in Vegas, and I'm like, man, if they're going to lose outright, because going into the fourth, Idaho State had the lead. The first half, he'd already cashed.
And remember, Colby and Scott, UNLV lost as 45-point home favorites a couple of years ago to Howard to open up the season. It's not unprecedented, Colby. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. And look, Orji, when he originally transferred to Dan Mullen, I thought it might work because Mullen with the mobile quarterback, Yeah,
Dak Prescott Jr. Like, you got a big body to work with. Work with him.
Yeah. Talking some college football, Colby Dan, Sports Gambling Podcast Network is his home, the College Experience Podcast. Colby, we've got a minute. We'll come back and get your thoughts on the one last late game and then some of the bigger games tomorrow, including Texas, Ohio State, if you got a chance.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. In-game live game day here on the grid on a fabulous Football Friday.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, calf issues are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the PUP list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who'd say, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid on this fabulous Friday. Scott and Gabe talking with Colby Dant, the College Experience podcast, get some of his thoughts on college football. So we got the one other game tonight, Colby, late tonight, your bailout special. Central Michigan getting 13.5 at San Jose State. Any interest in that game?
Oh, definitely, man. Look, we were like, I got a lot of money on San Jose State for the whole football season, and I took them to make the college to make the college football playoff. I took them to win the Mountain West, and watching Boise State yesterday, I'm like, hey, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I was tap dancing over here, man. Right? Look. Central Michigan, Matt Drinkle comes in from Army, and he's not running the option, which I was surprised because he's been at Army for the past few years. And
against a coach from Navy that doesn't run the option. You got to love the irony.
But really, if you watch San Jose State last year, I thought Niumatalolo really did well in year one. He found his quarterback like midway through the season in Walker Egan. He's back. Second year in that offense, the spread and shred Craig Stutzman runs, and then you return 4 of 5 starters on the offensive line. I know they lose Nick Nash, who's on the Falcons, but to me, they go out in the portal. They bring in this kid from Sacramento State, who I think if anyone plays DFS, you might want to circle him. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, though. I think the offense is going to be good, and they return a bunch on defense. The line of scrimmage is where they're so much better this year, offense and defensively, and the schedule's incredible. So I like laying the number there against Central Michigan, one of 6 first-year coaches they play this year.
I'm going to get the props up, actually, for that game. We got a touchdown, Wetzel, in the Auburn game. Speaking of Jackson Arnold, we better not take any shots. Jackson Arnold looked really good running the ball down the field. He did. He ran the ball like every play. It was like breakdown, run, but he ran the ball successfully. 7-3 Auburn Tigers right now. Updated total is 53.5. It closed at 57.5. And now the Baylor Bears are getting 4.5, and they have the ball first down on their 35-yard line.
Yeah, and by the way, it's Danny Scudero. My apologies. Danny Scudero is a guy, if you could find, watch it. He was very good at Sacramento State, and when I got a chance to interview Ken Niumatalolo and some of their guys, so they were saying he was balling out in camp. So I'm going all in on an unknown play. I do DFS too, so roster those guys. But Sac State, I think, is going to give it to him. Look, I think the Drinkle hire is a good hire for Central Michigan long term. But this is game one. I like to fade a lot of the game one coaches.
All right. Texas, Ohio State. We'll start at the top tomorrow afternoon, noon Eastern time. Where are you going?
I'm on the Buckeyes, but, man, seeing this line movement, I got the worst of this number, man. So, a bit terrified of the line movement. But, hey, it worked. It worked out for me with Hawaii. Maybe this can.
There's no safe side to this game, guys. Texas or Ohio State. There really isn't. You're coming in here, right? It's probably not the best game to bet on, Scott, if we're being honest. I personally think the Longhorns are going to find a way.
Yeah. You know what? As we'll hear in opposite picks next hour, Ohio State, guys, 62-3. And if you take out the Michigan losses, 62-1 at home. This team doesn't lose at home. So
who do they play, though? They usually don't open the season. They usually open up the season against Toledo or Akron.
I know.
Yeah.
62-1. I'll take my chances.
Well, I think that record's even better if you look at the first ever road start by a quarterback, because he started 2 games, but that was in Austin against ULM Mississippi State. I started doing a deep dive and I gave up because I couldn't find. I got like 25 years in and I was like, I don't know who's ever won at the Horseshoe. That's a first year quarterback, first road start ever. But that was really my only logic was this is the Horseshoe. I if anything, I was a little terrified when it took so long for them to name Julian Sand a starting quarterback, which is not a good sign. I don't think if you're an Ohio State fan. But my thing just at the end of the day was I was like, you're telling me first ever road start in your life, you're going to go into one of the hardest places. I know he's a Manning. I don't care. I'll take my chances on the Horseshoe winning the game for me.
Big weather situation in Tallahassee, guys. Heavy thunderstorms expected. And freaking Georgia Tech. These guys were basically on the 5-yard line. Bunch of penalties. Now they're kicking a field goal. But heavy thunderstorms expected in the Alabama game in Tallahassee tomorrow. Obviously, the Clemson LSU game, Heisman implications, NFL draft implications for Klubnik and Nussmeier. LSU always lose. Kelly has lost the home openers, the season openers, excuse me. The 2 games to FSU he lost last year to USC in Vegas at the game I was at. I'm not in love with the fact that the point spread's actually come down to 3.5 some spots. What do you think about that big night showdown there, Colby?
Yeah, the battle of the Death Valleys. Every time you go to a bar in New Orleans or something, I feel like, they're not the real Death Valley. We're the real. It's just like, okay.
No, you'll get killed in New Orleans doing that. I'm going to say that they're the real one. Like, hey, Scott, I say that Baton Rouge is the real Death Valley, even though I like Clemson. And think about it, guys. They're both named Tigers, too. They're both named Tigers.
First game, they're selling alcohol at the stadium tomorrow night.
What in Clemson? Is it the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it even more now. Give me the Tigers. Clemson Tigers.
Yeah. That I did not know that. that might change my look, my thing is that over a field goal, I took LSU getting, I think it was 4 a couple weeks back. But I am a little terrified. You saw today, too, their starting safety, Halsey, the transfer from Houston, was one of the top transfers. He's suspended for the first half based on some targeting on, week 11 for Houston last year. So he's suspended for the first half. He didn't even know that. They didn't know that.
So stupid.
The NCAA just informed him. Yeah, that's a ridiculous rule. They need to change that. But, yeah, look, I took Brian Kelly and LSU in general, even pre-Brian Kelly, they haven't won an opener since 19. So, I took the points, but I'm a little weary. But I just think this is the team to do it. Nussmeier's a beast. Give me the points.
All right, we got 15 seconds. Any great locks for tomorrow?
Kansas State, lay it against North Dakota. They're gonna stomp them. They're laying 25, I think.
Good job, Colby. Did a great job as always. The College Experience Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You'll find them there. Thanks, Colby. Do it again.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, calf issues are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the PUP list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who say, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. What is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? He's got that much money to play anyway.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Oh, welcome back in Game Live. It's amazing what you find, in between breaks here. What? We're saying so where? Who? Okay.
Nothing. You see, not a lot of faces me, Wetzel. That one got my attention. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What was that? What you talking about, Willis? I feel like Gary Coleman.
Right.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah. Right. Great TV show. So, thanks to Colby Dance. So no SGP tonight, but we do have the Black Cloud play. We'll throw that out there. So a little Black Cloud play in the daytime coming up. Yeah, we'll divert our attention a little bit later on since it's a late game, but there's not really that many late college football games today, just the really 1:10:30 San Jose State one. So we'll go over 179.5. It bumped up. Last night it was 177.5 when I was doing my notes, so it's a good sign, I guess. They pushed it to 179.5. Indiana, LA Sparks. Sparks, as we told you, the 5 on the line, number one over team in the WNBA, 24-11-1. Indiana's a halfway decent over team, 6-4 over their last 10. It's actually a very, very big game as far as playoff implications goes, which could lead towards an under, but I don't think so. LA's, the last two games just snuck under. I think just a matter of, it's due to go over. As I said earlier, I do like the over. This has got 95-90 written all over it. I don't think either team's going to call off the dogs. So we'll sneak a little over 179 Indiana, LA Sparks in at you as we continue to look at the college football and some baseball as well, Gabe.
I'm more interested in that than the baseball, Wetzel. I like it. How do I not bet it? We've sort of backed off, and pretty smartly, actually. I think I've done a good job, and I think you've done a good job as well. If you'll notice throughout the week, Wetzel, the other night, guys, the Sparks over. They don't score as much anymore. I told them they're not on an overrun right now. We know. I bet them every damn game. I know their little ins and outs. Tonight, it just sets up perfectly. The Fever can't stop anybody. And even without Caitlin Clark, Scott, as you see, the Fever play track meets. Like, they can score. You talk about it. All these girls can score. They can't all play defense, and a lot of them don't want to play defense. Right? So, and then you get the LA Sparks. We know the Sparks can score. And the Sparks, when they're playing another track meet team, it's the perfect combination. That's when I like it, Scott. I like the play. Despite all the college football, I'm jumping in on that one tonight.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to work last night, Gabe, because I had a 9.5 point money line winner that I was all psyched to tell you about.
Oh, the Seattle Storm? See, I can tell you right now, Seattle Storm.
Yeah.
Good call.
They're playing for
I thought the spread was too high.
Yeah, Minnesota has it all clinched. They got the number one seed clinched because even if they end up in a tie with Las Vegas, they hold the tiebreaker already.
Great point.
So
they were like 9.5 points. For what?
It's like, no way. So I really
we got problems, Scott. Touchdown, Auburn.
How'd they get the ball back so quickly?
They just because Baylor aren't doing anything on offense.
Oh, no, they didn't kick a field goal. Okay, that's the first time.
No. That was Georgia Tech that kicked the field goal. Georgia Tech kicked the field goal, 7-3.
That's right.
So 13-3 now, extra point pending. All right, now I'm going to start the thing. I'm just sorry for the thing. I'm just trying to get in on Sam Houston State here. I'm buying a half point to make it 10. All right, there you go. So, Scott, they're kicking the extra point right now. It's going to be 14-3 in a second here because college is not – they still – should they make the college kids do real, NFL extra points? It would be a disaster. They'd miss all the time, huh? Because he's kicking off, Scott. The extra points from the 10-yard line. It's like high school. Yeah. It's like kids. See, from the 10. So 14-3. I'm not going to write Baylor off. This isn't ideal. My concern is, Scott, Baylor, I'm watching, they can't stop Auburn running the ball. Like the quarterback's running down their throat. They're handing it off to the running back. They're not throwing it. They're just running on Baylor. But I was waiting on talking about the total, and let's look at the end game here. God, it's frozen right now, locked. What do you got for a total?
54.5.
All right, so we're still getting value from the 57.5.
Yeah. You're still
Son of a Scott, I always get a worse number. They know they're profiling me. They know I want to bet the over. I got 55.5.
Wow.
It's always, Yes. I'm going over because I think, listen, Auburn are scoring, and I don't believe, Scott, that Baylor are going to get held to 3 points here. Like, it's going to click. Maybe this is the drive. I'm going to get ahead of the curve. A lot of football left to be played here. It's at home in Baylor. Give me Baylor. Give me the over 55.5.
Auburn game is rushed for 130 yards, and they're 4 minutes into the second quarter.
I told you they were running the ball. I didn't even see that. I told you.
Jeez.
Hey, Aranda, where's your defense?
Yeah, come on, Dave. What's up? Hour number 2 coming up next.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, catfish ears are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the pup list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who's saying, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back. It is hour number 2 in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, again, hour number 2 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. College football. In a little trouble with some of our plays. Others not so the case. We're looking pretty good, halfway decent with some others. Auburn does lead 14-3. We talked about the closeout hour number 1. They run for 130 yards already, 4 minutes into the second quarter. They're on pace for over 500 yards rushing. So Baylor's got to pick up the steam. Gabe and I both on Baylor. It's 10.5 right now. Would you double down? I always put a little aside, Gabe, to double down. I would do it now. I wouldn't wait. I don't think it's going to get any worse. They had the football, albeit deep inside their own territory. So I took them plus the 1.5. I'll double down now. Give me the 10.5, and hopefully that they come back. I think they will. Georgia Tech trailing Colorado, but they have the ball 7-3. Early second quarter there. Not too many points in the big games. And then the goofy games, I'm on App State, leading 17-3 over Charlotte. And then, Gabe, you're on Campbell, are you not? Against Rhode Island down 11, but getting double digits late.
Yeah, it's falling apart. Campbell is falling apart. Unfortunately, I didn't hammer it. They're losing by 11. I'm only getting 8.5, and they don't have the football right now with like 4 minutes left. But that's okay. You're not going to win it all. Like, that was sort of a recreational, degenerate play. Cookman are down 14-3. They're getting 27.5 right now. Illinois aren't playing around, so they better have to call off the Dogs. They're up 31-0 right now, late in the first half. But how about this? I stayed away from the Kansas game, and I was kind of ruining it. I was like, man, Kansas first half. Wagner backdoored it, Scott. They scored a touchdown to end the first half. So they covered the first half because of that. It was 29-0. And Wagner scored to make it 29-7. And just like that, Kansas do not cover the first half. of that game. Sam Houston State and UNLV, guys. This is the next one up right now. So we got another game in the rotation coming up. Like you said, Scott, App State up 17-3. I do agree with you with Baylor getting the 10.5. I'm not writing them off for the game yet. Baylor guys are going for it on 4th and 3 from their own 44-yard line right now. They're showing a little early desperation, and they don't get it. They don't get it. And there's a holding penalty even. It was incomplete, and there was a holding penalty on them coming up anyways. It's about to be declined. Wow is right, Scott. I just got in on the over 55.5, and now Auburn are going to have the ball at Baylor's 43-yard line. But this is starting to get out of hand, man. Baylor better start making some plays, Scott. Otherwise, they're going to go run out of the stadium here.
Yeah. And listen, I know it's only one game, it is, but the SEC game doesn't need any more ammunition at the end of the year when they're looking for 3, maybe 4, who knows, even 5 teams. And the Big 12 is hoping to get 1, maybe 2, and then they'll revert back to, okay, let's see how the Big 12 did against the SEC. And they're going to point to this game and say, Baylor, maybe one of your better teams got blown out, at home, no less, by Auburn, which figures to be a 500 club, maybe. It's ramifications of just winning and losing when it comes to conferences and everything else when they kind of compare things. So how about this one? I did not play this one. I wasn't getting enough. It was only like 20
Tarleton
or so.
State?
No, I did like Army on that one, and I'm glad.
For the record, Tarleton State just tied it. That's why I said it. It's 24-24 right now.
Yeah.
Tarleton State just scored. With like 5 minutes, I figured too, you know what? How many minutes? There's still like 9 minutes left. I thought, wow, all right, Tarleton State are hanging around. Army will come up with a stop here. And Tarleton State just marched down the field, Scott. Potential big upset. Last night, we nearly had our first big upset of the year. Jacksonville State nearly beat Central Florida last night. Ohio gave Rutgers all they could handle, Scott. But the Central Florida were like 17.5-point favorites. They scored a late touchdown to escape disaster. So, there's one of these upsets going to happen eventually. Someone's going to get punched in the mouth.
I'll give you two things real quickly. One, how about Kennesaw State? This is a team that was 2-10 last year. They are now beating Wake Forest. Throw in the Georgia Tech losing early on, obviously. Yeah.
Wake were what, 22-point favorites off the top of my head? 21, 22?
Yeah, that's why I said I wasn't getting enough. I was kind of hoping to get around 27, 28, and I'd say, I'll take a flyer on Kennesaw State. Why not? I was going to go Kennesaw State and then the over, but it wasn't enough points. But the 5 minutes into this third quarter, they're leading 9-7. How about this, though, Gabe, as far as college football? We mention this all the time. 15 games, 15 or 16. I'll just say 16. 16 games have been played so far, outside of the 1 AA teams, if you will, right? You know how many underdogs out of those 16 teams, games have actually won outright? Take a guess.
South Florida, Iowa State, 2.
Yeah, 2. These teams don't lose. Yeah, I think I say you're pretty good.
And for the record, too, Scott, Iowa State were 3-point underdogs only, and South Florida were only like 4.5 last night, right? So it's not like massive upsets yet. So the favorites have been dominant.
They don't cover. Like, I'm not saying they cover, so I'm not suggesting
win outright.
Just play all the favorites. But they win outright. They don't lose. That's how college football is. It's not when you pick college football, it's not picking who's going to win like it is in the NFL. It's who's going to cover. You know who's going to win most of these games. Most of the spreads, even in season, most of the spreads are 14 points. Those 10, 12.
Well, you would have loved it last night. Did you see my 17 parlay on Twitter? Someone included you in a tweet and said, I like this one better than Scott 17 tennis. Yeah. It won.
By the way,
my play won. That
hit.
Did your tennis play win? I brought it up last night. So nothing lost. It won. Good stuff.
They all won. And the toughest one, believe it or not, was Iga Swiatek there, as I like to call her. She needed 3 sets, and the third set was 6-4. Now, I didn't watch the game because it was in the afternoon, so I just saw the score. That's how you have to do it with these monster favorites, right? You'll give yourself odds if you start watching this stuff. But I saw her score. She won in 3 sets and needed 6-4 to win the third set. But yeah, all the others all won. So I cashed that.
So it's funny. I told you tonight, I don't like these 7-team this and that. So last night I actually did it. I had a 7-team college football money line parlay, and it was one sweat job after another, Scott. Rutgers was the first play on the money line. Bro, they barely won. It was like, dear God, this is crazy. Central Florida game was delayed for hours with weather. They were losing 10-3 with like 6 minutes left. I was like, I can't believe this. Nebraska, Scott. Hey, Nebraska. Everybody, I don't know what you thought about the call. I didn't mind it from Cincinnati. It was pretty ballsy, bro. Like, you guys would have been, Nebraska would have been screwed if they catch that ball. The game would have been game, set, match. The quarterback underthrew it. The Nebraska defensive back made a great play, but Nebraska nearly blew that game, Scott. And I like Nebraska over 7.5. I didn't bet it, and I'm glad that I didn't because they're the same team, bro. They're not going to change.
Yep.
And Matt Rule, the guy's just not a very good coach, Scott. Like, he spends his whole time bitching. I know he's a charismatic guy, and he'd be good on TV. He spends the whole time yelling at the refs all the time. It's always woe is me, the big victim on the sideline. He's 3-10 now. He's 4-10 in one-score games, Scott. But they can't close games out. This team. They should have been. They should have ran away with that game late last night.
Should have blew them out. Should have. They had so many opportunities. The Raiola kid,
touchdown Georgia Tech.
Wow.
And it's my boy Haynes King. So now we're putting some winners on the board for you. I told you Haynes King would score a touchdown.
There you go. But that Raiola, he can't throw the ball, Gabe. I mean, listen, I get it. His father was great. You know what? But he can't throw. He's got 5,000 completions last night for 200
And he thinks he's Mahomes. Side this and that. It's like, you're not Mahomes, kid. You're not Mahomes.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. College football opposite picks coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Just saw a story here on the 4-Letter Network. The FBI released some documents about Pete Rose's gambling stuff. I don't know what any more information we can know, but I haven't had a chance to actually read the story, but that is interesting because we talked about that. I'm still waiting for someone to say, yeah, I knew it was gambling. I do.
Aren't we kind of Pete Rosed out? You know what I mean? At this point, it's almost like Jim Irsay. You see the story, Scott, this week about Jim Irsay? Yeah. Oh, he relapsed before. Like, dude, he's dead. Like, what do you need to like?
Yeah, what else? What else do you need to know about the poor guy, right?
No, but the thing is, exactly, he's gone. It's like some expose. Man who we all knew had an alcohol and pill addiction issue had a relapse before he died. He's gone, guys. There's no need. Like, it's not newsworthy, Scott. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, the people need to know this. That guy Greg Dola wrote, and how does it affect the Colts? It's like, how does it affect the Colts? The owner's dead. That's how it affects the Colts. He's dead. Like, whether he drank the month before he died or not is irrelevant. Like, it's not newsworthy. Like, I understand why athletes and teams hate the media sometimes. I'm like, that's not newsworthy. You know what I mean? Right. Like, if he would have ran someone, he ran someone over while he was drunk driving, that would have been newsworthy. Just, you know what? He had a relapse. Come on, man. Like, have some respect for the family. It has nothing. It's not. That doesn't help anybody. Yeah, it's not newsworthy.
And the family knew. It's a family knew, Gabe. This is not like news to the family. They had to have known. That's how he died in his sleep. He OD'd. I mean, listen, let it, move on. There's enough other things.
Big play, Baylor. Big play, Baylor. Let's go. Yeah, they scored a field goal only, though. Yeah, 17-3.
Okay.
But Baylor have the ball now. They're at midfield. One thing, it's one good thing. I am on Sawyer Robertson over pass yards, over 249.5, and he's already at like 109, and he's going to have to throw, Scott, because they're losing. But Baylor, this is as good as Baylor's offenses look. There's Bryson Washington for a big run. So Baylor moving the ball. They need to respond here. Like a field goal, not good enough. Like if it was an NFL game, Scott, all right, let's make it 17-6, and you know what I mean? We're back in it a bit. College, like the way Auburn are moving the ball, you got to make this 17-10. Get the fans back in this thing. Get the cheerleaders and the crowd back. Get the sideline players back into this thing. Because, they're losing their home field edge here. Like there's no energy, but nice drive going on right now by the Baylor Bears. First down Baylor on the 35 of the Auburn Tigers.
Interesting line in the other one. I don't quite get this one unless FanDuel's off, but I don't think they are in this case. Colorado is trailing Georgia Tech, so I should say the other way around. Georgia Tech is leading 10-7. They were 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 point favorites, so they have the lead, and yet they're getting 2.5 points. For a 2.5, 3.5 point favorite, that's a little bizarre second quarter, is it not?
I think this is a case of this is a case in the modern era, guys, where it really matters, Scott. Internet speed, cable speed. The sports books are ahead of us. They are. Like, I go to a lot of games, and it's amazing, Scott, like how quickly like they catch on where the goal and like you notice the difference. So a good example you just talked about, Colorado just completed a bomb into the red zone. So while we're talking, they already knew. They already knew. Yeah. You know what I mean? They already knew. They're ahead of us. It's almost like a con. Imagine like it's like they're ahead of reality. But that's what, the Sports Radar. Remember, this is the company Sports Radar, which has been associated with the grid over the years. You'll always see guys at the end of the game on TV, at the end of these games, data provided by Sports Radar. They are the ones that are providing these sports books the live game cast quicker than it is on TV, Scott. Because they'd get absolutely murdered if we were on the same page, like the same time. Dude, I remember you and I have been along a long time ago. I remember Bowman's Bet365, Scott, literally 30 years ago having in-game betting. And, bro, it was sloppy. Like, sometimes it'd be a kickoff or a return for a touchdown, and they didn't move it. They didn't know it kicked off yet, Scott. You know what I mean? Like, there'd literally be, like, these little gaps where you could, bam, and get them. Now they're 7, 10, 15 seconds ahead of us.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Gabe, I mentioned this before, not trying to start any trouble, right? God bless all these sites. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a guy that's going to be a big-time bettor. And I mean, 4 figures, 5 figures on these in-game live stuff. And they're going to say, well, wait a minute now. I just put in Georgia Tech plus 2.5. And you told me on your little TV screen there, FanDuel, and I'll just use FanDuel as an example because I'm sure they all do this, but you told me Colorado had the ball at their own 36-yard line.
So you're saying sort of a class action lawsuit. I'm betting against a rigged system, so to speak.
Yeah, you're telling me one thing that's not true, and you're giving me the odds.
I know.
So if the odds can be up to date, how come the score indicator can't
I
be
totally
up to
agree
date?
with you. And I have a litigious mind, Scott, so I understand where you're going with this. But you know what the problem is? Look at FanDuel or whatever. Scroll to the bottom of the page. Look at the fine print.
Yeah.
There's always little, by the way, you are betting into a, read the fine print.
Yeah.
They're not that stupid. They have lawyers too, guys.
Yeah. It's like the back, it's like a baseball ticket. You know what? If you get hit by that foul ball, you're on your own. Sorry. Busted your head open? Sorry.
You signed. Read the back of the ticket. It's one of those. Yeah, read the back of the ticket. Yeah. You took a puck to the face. Tough luck, kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? unless like a player picked up the puck and threw it at you, or a player threw a stick. Like, it has to be some egregious act. Right, that wasn't within the norm of the game.
Yeah, but it is weird, right? Somehow you can update the odds, right? But you can't update the details of the game.
But you know what? We're coming up against a break. But it's funny you say that, Scott. You see all the TVs. If you have lymphoma, if you were asbestos, call this law firm. There's an ad running. Do you have a gambling addiction, and have you been preyed upon by the sports books?
Wow.
So it's coming. So your mind was onto it, but we can't sue for like our bad in-game bets.
Yeah. Too bad. Rats. More coming up.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, catfishers are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the pup list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who say, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Opposite picks coming up in 5 minutes. Quick little check, Gabe. Scott and Gabe Morency in here until 10 p.m. Eastern time, as we always are. Although I will say that next week when we do the NFL football, Mondays and Thursdays, and today's the next week, Friday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be here until the end of the games, so don't worry about that. Quick check of the baseball stuff. The Brewers lead the, maybe Toronto lost the battle but won the war tonight. We got Cam Stewart. Oh, yeah, we were supposed to do opposite picks now. All right. We'll do it next hour. Yeah, we'll do it 9:40. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so Toronto is leading the Blue Jays 7-2. Bieber pitched tonight, but he actually pitched well. So maybe they're going to lose. Hold
on. You got me there, Scott. I know there's a lot going on, but I heard you say Toronto leads the Blue Jays 7-2. So who's leading?
Oh, my bad. Milwaukee's leading Toronto. Well, yeah, that would be nice.
Okay,
right?
Thank you.
Win it or loss. Milwaukee's leading Toronto 7-2. So, but Bieber only gave
here's a field goal attempt.
Innings. So, all right, what do we got?
Field goal, and the kick is good. So we got ourselves a 10-10 game with a $1:40 left in Boulder right now. Colorado 10, Georgia Tech 10.
All right. Dion's not too happy. I got the game on here, obviously. He's yelling and screaming at the kids, which is
what's Baylor doing here? Don't tell me you're going to fumble. And you know what? Baylor – now, Auburn have the ball, and Auburn just fumbled, but the kid is down. What the hell was Baylor doing? Yeah. Baylor were moving the football, and I'm jumping around from game to game here. All right, we got the touchdown, Wetzel. All right, I'm freaking out here. We got the touchdown, Wetzel.
Right.
You notice, Scott? I don't know. You've done a lot of in-game shows over the years on this network, but I've been doing them forever, and it's as certain as it's going to rain in the wintertime in Vancouver that there are always touchdowns during our commercial breaks.
Yeah.
It could be the most boring game ever, and the kicker, there's always a touchdown during the break. So, the Baylor game, the touchdown happened during our break. I'm like, oh, yeah, what happened to Baylor? I'm like, oh, yeah, we're during a break. Of course they scored a touchdown. So, 17-10 now. We got a game. And like I said, Scott, what I told you before, enthusiasm matters. Like I did a show, the student section. They're all back into it again right now, right? You're more into it now. Down 17-3. In-game total up to 58.5. Auburn are still laying 9.5 points, guys. I think it's a great bet to jump in on the Baylor Bears. This game's coming down to the wire. We're only down 7, Scott. Come on.
Yeah, that's just way too much respect for Auburn. We took them before at 10.5 when they fell behind. I'm a little surprised again. Not that every line has to make sense, but when you do this long enough, you get a sense of what it should and shouldn't be. I don't think Auburn, just because they have the ball, should be a 9.5 point favorite when they're only a 1.5 point favorite and they're up 7. I mean, that indicates to me they're up 10, to tell you the truth, if not even more than that. But, all right, so I took it already, but I would take it again if you didn't take it beforehand. 9.5, down 7, first half, closing minutes, first half. I like that. Tech tied 10-10 with Colorado, so we're going to need some points there if you got the over on that one as they close out the first half. 1:38 left to go there. I tell you, App State might have been the best bet on the board. And all these goofy games, that line just made no sense. It's amazing when things that are supposed to happen the way you think they are. It's like, well, this is so easy. It really is. But I just didn't understand why Charlotte, which is awful, would be that small of a favorite. Every once in a while, Gabe, I know it's not the case, but App State was listed on top as Charlotte. 99 times out of 100, that means the team on top is the visiting team and the team on the bottom is the home team. I just get a sense every once in a while, like maybe they thought Charlotte was the home team here, where it's just like, is that possible? I mean, I kind of doubt that, but that's what that line says.
No, but this game, and I respect handicappers that put, they put a lot of work in and stuff. And I often find we see it in baseball, they fall into the trap of hard hit rate and this and that, and their numbers, and they don't understand it's 106. It's a human element to this, and I swear, Scott, I always want to fade the hipster play of the week or the hipster play of the day. And I saw it today. I just knew. I see everything in the gambling world that's going on out there. And like I said, everybody was hammering Charlotte. There was all this negativity about App State. And I knew it was like, this is the big handicapper trap. Yeah, but they should have did this, and surprise. It's 27-3 now, App State, Scott. So it's 27-3. We got that one in our back pocket.
How long before we hop in on Kennesaw State money line? They're trailing 10-9. Wake just kicked the
Might have to wait. I don't know. See, Wake are up by 1 right now. They're laying 4.5 instead of 22.
Yeah, wow. What a drop on that.
I say Wake pull away.
Yeah. I don't know. Tim Stewart coming up next.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, catfishers are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the pup list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who say, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yeah. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Ah, yes. LLs, LWs know what that music means. Time to take out the pad and pencils, get set for the fastest and, more importantly, most profitable 5 minutes in television, Opposite Picks. What are Opposite Picks, you newbies ask? Well, we give you 7 games, 7,000 reasons why we like one team, and then we go opposite. Why? Because despite all the stats, trends, hunches, injury reports, weather reports, and everything else, nobody beats the boys in Vegas. Been doing this for 20 years. I've had a winning record going opposite. Nothing I'm proud of, by the way, every year except one. We were like 15, 20 games over 500 last year. We had a monster year last year. So here we go. First of our 7-pack, Gabe. Ohio State laying 1.5 against Texas. Are the boys in Vegas asleep at the wheel here? Do they not know that Ohio State is 62-3 at home over the last 10 years, including 35-3 under current head coach Ryan Day? Texas comes to town with the overhyped, over-enhanced, overbuilt up, over-amplified Arch Manning, whose claim to fame outside of his bloodline is throwing 4 touchdown passes against Texas San Antonio. Big stinking deal. You and I could do that. Welcome to the horseshoe, kid. Love, 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 love Ohio State laying only 1.5 points. Give me Texas plus 1.5. Pick number 2, Ball State plus 17.5 at Purdue. Do the boys in Vegas watch college football? Do they realize Purdue blows? They were 1-11 last year. Now they're going to lay over 2 touchdowns? Yeah, I get it. Ball State stinks as well, but 5 of their 9 losses last year came by 10 points or less. They were 6-5 against the spread, which isn't too bad. Purdue 2-9. In fact, if you keep on betting the Boilermakers, you're going to be drinking Boilermakers because they're going to drive you bonkers. They're 6-19 against the spread their last 25 line games, and again laying 17.5. Love Ball State here. Give me Purdue minus the 17.5. Pick number 3, Tulane laying 4.5 against Northwestern. One man's trash is another man's treasure, right? That's the case for Tulane, which picked up stud quarterback Jake Retzlaff from BYU after the Cougars basically ostracized him for having sex. And that's really the truth, having sex. I mean, if every player got kicked out of school for having sex, we wouldn't have schools. I digress. But that said, Northwestern coming off a 4-8 season in which one of the wins was against Eastern Illinois, so that doesn't even count. They're not going down to New Orleans and beat this good Tulane team, which figures to contend for the American ACC or the AAC Conference Championship this year. Love Tulane laying only 4.5 at home. Give me Northwestern plus the 4.5. Pick number 4, Connecticut laying 25.5 against Central Connecticut. Now, I'm not big on laying nearly 4 touchdowns in a football game, but I will here. This line should be closer to 35, not 25. Jim Mora Jr.'s done a nice job turning things around at UConn, going 9-3 last year, including a bowl win over North Carolina. Central stinks. It's a small, rinky-dink 1AA, if you will, school that lost to Central Michigan last year by 56 points. It lost to UMass. It lost to Yale. It lost to Rhode Island. This team blows. They're not going to hang with UConn. Love Connecticut here. Give me Central Connecticut plus 25.5. Pick number 5, South Dakota plus 16.5 at Iowa State. Tell the little lady, don't worry about making lunch today, honey. I already got a big-time sandwich game on my plate. That's right. Iowa State beat Kansas State last week over in Ireland. You know who they play next week? Iowa, their rival. You know what that makes this week's game? The sandwich game. You think they really care about stinking South Dakota? Meanwhile, South Dakota, this is their championship, and they are one of the best 1AA, if you will. I still call them 1AA. FCS teams in the nation. Went to the semifinals last year. A bunch of kids are coming back. They may win this thing outright. Give me Iowa State minus the 16.5. Pick number 6, Tennessee laying 13.5 against Syracuse. Tennessee thinking playoffs. Syracuse is thinking 500 record. Hughes has the least amount of returning starters out of any school in the ACC. Tennessee, meanwhile, 12-0 straight up, 9-0 against the spread versus non-SEC teams, outscoring the last 5, 306-16, folks. SEC teams, 16-1 against ACC clubs in the Kickoff Classic, which this is, winning by an average of over 16 points a game, which the last time I checked is more than 13.5. And oh, by the way, Syracuse 1-8 against the spread in season openers. Everything points to Tennessee. Give me Syracuse plus the 13.5. Final pick number 7 of our 7-pack. Merrimack plus 6.5 versus Kent State. What in the world has gone on with the boys in Vegas? They're making Kent State a favorite? Do you realize that hasn't happened in 3 seasons? Kent State is the biggest waste of human flesh in football uniforms east of the Mississippi, going 1-23 straight up their last 24 games. Now they're a favorite. What about against the spread? Doesn't matter, right? Because they got to win and cover. But just for the sake of purpose, 7-22-1 against the spread in their last 2+ seasons. I mean, you'd have to be the bird brain, hair brain, butthead, meathead, mental midget, nutcase, nincompoop, crackpot, weak-minded screwball in the world to put hard-earned American money on Kent State as a favorite, no less. Give me Kent State minus the 6.5. Opposite picks, week number 1, my friends. We are underway. Texas plus 1.5, Purdue laying 17.5, Northwestern plus 4.5, Central Connecticut plus 25.5, Iowa State laying 16.5, Syracuse plus 13.5. And then Kent State finally, as it pains me to say it, give me Kent State laying 6.5. Opposite picks game, week number 1. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I will not be betting on your card there tomorrow, just because I don't have to. Like, why would I want to bet a Kent State game, like one way or the other? I don't mind betting a Kent State future on the season. I do like Texas in the game tomorrow. Your K-State's, the sandwich stuff makes sense, but the Texas Longhorn game tomorrow, Scott, it's the first time ever that the number 1 ranked team has been the underdog in the first game of the season. So the numbers, it keeps on creeping down right now. As you stated, though, we don't know what we're going to get from Arch Manning. People have already anointed him the great savior, but to me, this is Sarkisian. He needs to win one of these big games, right? Texas are overhyped, in my opinion, but I think they can go into Columbus, and I think the Buckeyes just lost too many leaders on their team. Like, they got skill. We know they got skill. One thing I'll say about that game, too, Scott, I think the total is too light now. Another situation where the odds makers made it 51.5. The betting market and the media have beat it down to 47. Oh, new quarterback's going to be this and that. There's a lot of speed on the field, man. And the defenses can cause havoc, create turnovers. There could be a punt return. 47 is not a lot of points for a Texas and Ohio State game, Scott. I'm going to be betting the over that game.
I couldn't agree more, Gabe. You know what? Because these two quarterbacks, you just don't know, right? That's the beauty and that's the toughness of college football. But both of these quarterbacks are capable of scoring points for both teams, as I always like to say it. They're going to show flashes of being brilliant. That's why they are where they are. And they're going to score points for their own team. And then no doubt there's going to be times where they're throwing an interception, they're scrambling, they make a bad play, they fumble the football, and it's going to lead to a short field for the opposing team. If you're right, 48, less than 7 touchdowns. There's way too much speed on the field. I like the over as well. I really do. So maybe by the hook, get it down to 47, but I don't think you're going to need it. I really don't. All right, in-game live. Coming up there.
Oh, I hope it comes down more.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, catfish years are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the pup list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who say, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. So opposite picks in the books. In case you missed any of that stuff, just go to my website and I'll have it posted there. So a couple things. I'll get to the Western Illinois game because I have a notion about that, which kind of helps us a little bit. But Baylor and Auburn game, where do we stand? I know it was 17-10. Did Baylor, I'm about a minute and a half behind reality on my TV set. So did Baylor get it to field goal range?
Baylor are at midfield right now, and they only have 8 seconds, so they got to get a quick completion, which I was just about to say they do. Beautiful pass over the middle. The kid dropped it. It would have put him in field goal range. No guarantee they would have made the field goal. So now there's 4 seconds left, so I guess there'll be a Hail Mary here. They're on the 50-yard line, Scott. Like, that's why I didn't like the play call before when they went deep. Yeah. They've thrown it deep 2 plays in a row. It's like, guys, you're on the 50. Get it to the 30. Like, stop trying to get it to, like, into the end zone here. They just ran, like, a great slant pattern over the middle for, like, 15, 20, and it went right. He threw a bullet. It went right through his head. So they actually tried to do it. Go down, kid. Go down. Go down. Right. I think he took too long. They just threw it over the middle. Yeah, but, like.
Second down play. Second down play was right.
Yeah, you see. Oh, you see that? I know.
You got to catch
third down. Like, he could have went down, but they were too far. So it is what it is. So we go to the break, 17-10. Listen, guys, we've been talking. Me and Scott have been talking about it all game. I'm already on Auburn to +1, but I'm not really panicked about this. Watching this game, you can see the momentum has changed. Baylor's defense have figured Auburn's ground game out. They've got Arnold running sideways, throwing the ball out of bounds, and you're still getting 7.5 with the Baylor Bears right now. I think it's a good bet. I think I'm going to stand my ground. I say Baylor win this football game still. I think Auburn started out strong, but I think they're going to regress as the game goes on. I think Baylor wins, Scott, and you're getting +300 on the money line right now.
Yeah, that's not bad. And FanDuel here in New York's got it at +285, but 3-1, basically the same number, right? Listen, they got to go with the halftime fielding coverage. It was 17-3. They're in the process of maybe getting blown out. They went for it on their own, 44-yard line when they were down 14-3. That cost them a field goal, but they just went for it on this drive as well. So Aranda's not playing scared. I kind of like that. I know it's a little.
And they got stuffed once. They left points on the field too. You could argue it should be 17-17. They got stuffed inside the red zone earlier. Well, basically on the 5 or whatever it was.
All right, how about this one? It's a little goofy. All right, Illinois has got 4th and 5 at the Western Illinois. They're leading 31-0, 10 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So plenty of time left. It's locked now. But before, they were giving us Western Illinois, I think it was 54.5, and then the over-under was 57.5.
So Illinois
difference. There was 40.
Illinois just went for it on 4th and goal, which makes sense. You're winning 31-0. It's actually, if you're wondering for football etiquette people out there, it's a jerk move to kick the field goal. Like, you got to go for it. You just try to run the ball. Like, you don't, you know what I mean? It's if you're not a jerk coach type of deal.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right? Either way, if the opposing coach
they go for it, the Leathernecks come up with the defensive stop, which really helps my under 63.5. 31-0 right now. 10 minutes left in the third. In-game total 52.5 now, Scott, and you're getting 47.5. with Western Illinois right now.
Right. So as long as Western doesn't get shut out, you got 2 free
which
bets.
They will.
I like to call this. Which they might. They've run the ball for 1 yard. They have.
But
1 yard.
I'm saying if you want, really, they got 1 yard. If you want
1 yard,
but I'm saying, Scott, if you want the Leathernecks here, or if anyone tuning in, if you want the Leathernecks at +47.5, I don't think that. You know what the better bet is? Under 52.5. Because they're add 21 to this, that gets you to 52. Illinois is probably going to score at least 2 more times. They probably score 3. I don't think Western Illinois scores, so I would rather have the under 52 than the 47.5, Scott. I think you're getting more points out of it that way. I'm just giving a suggestion for people if they're thinking about betting the game. I'm almost tempted to, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm already on under 63.5. I'm going to go under 52.5 right now because I don't think Illinois scores 4 more touchdowns, Scott, and they're not kicking field goals. We know that. They're not kicking field goals, so They can score 3 more touchdowns, and I can still win the under 52.5. If Western Illinois don't score, which I don't think they will.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take Western and the over, Gabe, knowing that if Western scores at least 3 points, just kick a field goal. I don't know what this coach is like. Personally, I would kick field goals. I don't want to be shut out. I don't care if it's 100-3. I don't want it to be 100-0. So any chance I can kick a field goal, hopefully this guy does. And if that's the case, then in order for Illinois to cover the 47.5, the game's got to go over. So I will take my chance. Western does not get shut out. Give me Western and the over, and hopefully we get a double winner. I'm risking the big in my eyes.
You could. The thing is, Illinois, I kind of get the feeling Illinois is going to score 3 more times. So let's say they don't. Let's say they score 14. The only way 17 beats you. That's the thing, right? So 17. Right. Well, that was quick, actually. Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying, let's say, Scott, that they're at the 30 or something, and they're like, all right, let's get our kicker some work in the first game. You know what I mean? Because you're not kicking a field goal from the 5-yard line, winning 31-0. That's just like a jerk move. Right? So I'm just saying hypothetically, but it didn't take long, Scott, for Western Illinois. That was a quick 3-and-out, buddy. They're already punting. Wow. They literally just stopped them. Like 2 minutes. Like, they're already punting. They can't move the ball, Scott. They can't not move the ball.
I mean, this is a bad 1AA team. See, there are certain, like South Dakota, like with the opposite picks. I do like that play a lot. There are certain 1AA teams that are really good that, probably could hold their own, especially if a team's not really paying attention. Western sucks, though. Kennesaw State sucks. There are some bad teams that are bad in 1AA. So, yeah, they had, last time I checked, literally 2 minutes ago, they had 1 yard rushing.
You know what, though? I'm glad you brought it up, Scott. Wake, actually, clinging to a 10-9 lead with 8 minutes left. Wow. Full disclosure, when they were at 4.5, I figured out Wake will add another touchdown on the board. They'll pull away. Kennesaw State have the ball, too, at midfield.
Oh, I hope they win. I hope they win this thing. All right, we'll close up.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, calf issues are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the PUP list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who's saying, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, that didn't take long. Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Touchdown, Illinois. They had the ball. The Western Illinois had the ball for about 5 seconds, and then Illinois needed about 4 seconds to score a touchdown. So so much for that stand at the Leatherneck space. So 38-0. 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter there. So we're going to have to sweat that one out. I figured this game's going to go over, and I'll get a split. But
I said 3 more touchdowns. I'm a little worried. It just popped up to 58.5 right now. You know what, though? 31-0's not good enough if you're Illinois, right? Like there needs to be, you know what? 45 is good, Scott, if you're a coach. I think you'll escape here. Like 40, you know what I mean? You're up 45-0. It's like, all right, we could get to 50, but I don't think they have like, hey, we better get to 50, you know what I mean, 58 here on these guys. I don't think so. I think it sort of dies down, but I think that cutoff was 52.5. It's 58.5 right now. But Sam Houston State and UNLV have kicked off, guys, and this game is going the way, it's nice to see a game go the way that, we sort of handicapped it. UNLV got the ball first, marched down the field, scored a quick touchdown. Sam Houston State got the ball, marched down the field, and responded. We got a 7-7 football game. UNLV are now 6.5 instead of the 9.5. And the total is now 68.5. And the second half has started in Boulder, and the Colorado Buffaloes. Is that the first play from scrimmage? It was. First play from scrimmage was just like a 25, 30-yard run down the field. This is another one, guys, for in-game bettors right now. I think Georgia Tech, Colorado opens up. They started to scores. Georgia Tech started to move the ball as the game started to go on. Remember, it's the first game of the season. They got to shake off the doldrums in the first few drives. 47.5 right now, 13-10 football game. I'll say it goes over, Scott.
Yeah, that's not bad. Every second half, especially early on, it does. Teams don't want to run the ball and throw the ball.
Dude, you saw Iowa State, K-State nearly went over last week. Yeah. Remember how bad that first half was? That game nearly went over.
And it should have went over. Well, let's face it, the way things ended up there, right? So, yeah, that's not a bad little number. As I always say to the guys, Gabe, whatever you bet, but just leave just a little bit if things don't go your way. It doesn't mean your prediction was wrong, but you're going to get a better number sometimes. And if you don't, well, you don't. So the good news is you got, 25 points when you were hoping to maybe get at least 20. And if you only get to 15 points, whatever it is, then you get a little bit of a better number. And then you could, take advantage of it that way. So that's what I was.
Western Illinois got a first down for you. Just to let you know. I was gonna say, wow, that was another quick 3-and-out. They got a first down on 3rd and 8. So they got the ball on their own 38-yard line run. One game we never brought up, but I don't have a problem with it as a Michigan fan, but the Michigan State Spartans are winning 23-0 over Western Michigan. They're laying 23.5. There's 9 minutes left in the game, and the total is 29.5.
Yeah. I didn't have a whole lot on that one. That Michigan State program is just nasty to me. It just, I don't know. I don't like it. It's just, I don't know. Well, I do know why. I just don't like it. Let's put it that way. I'll throw you a trend for tomorrow. Just a trend, just a goofy one, and I've not verified it. But Kirby Smart, 0-36 against the spread, supposedly, as 38.5 or 38-point or more favorites, as they are tomorrow, laying 38.5 against Marshall. You want to buy into that? That tells me they don't run up the score.
Marshall are really not very good anymore. This is the problem. I like the trend, but I'm not getting in front of it. Like, there's enough games to bet. I'm not like, I want to bet against the Georgia Bulldogs. You know what I mean? I don't mind picking on FIU at plus 30, but I don't want to get in front of how about Penn State, Scott? Minus 43 against Nevada. I'm glad I brought this one up. James Franklin is the biggest jerk in college. This guy runs fake punts when he's up 56-0.
Yeah.
Like, literally. Like, he ran a trick play last year, Scott. Like, they were winning like 52-0 or something. He ran like a trick play for a touchdown, and it nearly started a brawl. Like, the other coaches want to punch him. He does not take the pedal off the metal, guys. I know it's Nevada, but Nevada aren't Nevada anymore. Look for Penn State, especially first half. What is this first half? First half and the game. I think Penn State murdered them. They're 27.5 in the first half, so actually, you know what? 43 is better for the game because they won't take the pedal off the metal, Scott. Right. Bryce Underwood and Michigan want to make a statement. I know they're playing Oklahoma next week, but it's against New Mexico, bro. like Michigan are going to win this game like 48-0 tomorrow, Scott. And it's on national television, NBC at 7:30. Lay the 34.5.
These coaches, Gabe, they all get jealous, and they know all the attention's on Ohio State, and they're going to make a statement themselves tomorrow. Just to say, look at us. Don't forget about us. Good job, Gabe. We'll be back tomorrow and the next week right here on The Grid.